I am all alone, and I want to share with you why you need to be alone sometimes. This angle is a bit strange. I'm going to tilt this a little bit so you can see my background. Let me sit here instead. A bit of feng shui freak. So, guys, some people think that, oh, why SD is often alone nowadays. And but do you know that being alone is the most healthiest way for you to nurture a relationship? So I'm going to share with you a few tips why it is important to be alone. Me and LG, we've been together for 8 years. So during these 8 years, we often spend time together. From the beginning, we are like inseparable. We are like on our each face all the time. But then that is not really healthy because if you are like us, LG is like 70 now. 8 years ago, he was like 62, and I was like 50. So the age gap is quite a lot, about 11 years. So we do have some differences. And I'm sure that is not only in our situation, in any situation, you really need to have alone time. Whether you are newly wed or newly in love, you may be younger, much younger than us, but still you need it. The reason why I said it, because if you don't have that alone time, you are going to be in trouble, because I think we all are different. We are different human beings. We have different needs. We are we have different background. We have different interests, and it's really really difficult to put two person with two different kind of personality in under one roof. Right now we are staying in the summer house. Our summer house, I think I've shown you guys, is not very big, but the lucky thing is that I have another house which I'm going to show you later, how this houses has actually saved our relationship. So why it is important? Because just imagine if you are like retired, right? You have no job to go to, and you are waking up together on each other face the whole day. And if the house is very small, this is going to contribute a lot of conflict, especially when we are so different. I am more to the type that I likes to be out in the nature. LG is like, yeah, he prefer to be in his garage and work on his project. So we really have to meet somewhere, right? So I think this idea of being alone, like I really noticed for the past few years, in fact, for the past 5 years, we've been staying in separate bedroom. We don't really sleep in the same bedroom, because I noticed that sleep is really important. If I don't get sleep, I become another person, and I don't like the person that I became, or I become. So you get really irritated. I do not know whether you guys can relate to this. If you don't have enough sleep, you find that you are unable to focus. What I meant is, if you have less than like 5 6 hours of sleep. So for my case, is LG, he's growing older, and he goes to the bathroom quite often. And for me, I haven't reached that stage yet, thank God. But because I'm a light sleeper, so I get to wake up every time, when he goes to the toilet, and I get really irritated. So we work out a plan that is putting me into another bedroom, which I'm so grateful that I now have another bedroom of my own. We even have separate bathroom, because I think men, they don't really know how to take care of bathroom. So for me, I think it is good to have a separate bathroom, which is a blessing. I think it is really important. If you are staying in a very small concealed place, you have to work this out. Maybe you might have to like restrict certain area, or maybe restrict certain rule for your own peace. And I think your own peace is really, really important, because if you don't have your own peace, you know, you are in love with somebody. I mean, you are in love with this person, but you don't need to be together all the time, because if you are together all the time, and if you have so much difference, it's going to be conflict is going to be so natural, and you don't want that. So I think it is good that if you have a like another room where you could create a peaceful settings for you to just enjoy what you are doing. It could be like a small drawing corner where you could maybe spend some time sitting aside and maybe do some drawings, or maybe some reading, or maybe just some doing something, or maybe just resting. So I think it is really, really important. If you can, try and do that. Find a small corner this weekend. Today is Sunday, right? Go and find one place where you find like you can, remove some of the items or furniture and create a small, maybe it can be just a couch with a lamp where you could, reach out for maybe a cup of coffee or read a book. So I think that is how our relationship could last, because I told him that, of course, from the beginning, I wasn't like in the right set of mind to tell him that, why I need the space. And then later I realized, after I've been given the separate room, I sleep better. I Every time when I get irritated, with him, and I just go to my room and I'll just cool down. And it helps, because when I don't see his face, at that point, because sometimes you really need time out, like, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe a few days. From the beginning, it was like a few days. But after that, with all the silent treatments, I think it doesn't really work, because how it really works is that two-person has to want to work at it. It doesn't, because for me, I felt like I was the one who is bringing out all the unsatisfaction, and I didn't tell him from the beginning, but now I'm getting better and better. At least now I am able to like speak up to him and tell him Siri is behind. Tell him exactly how I feel. I will have to be, try to be polite, but not all the time you can be polite, because sometimes when you get really angry, but you have to try to control your your behavior, and suck it in, and think, go to the silent mode, and then breathe in and out slowly. And first of all, the question, does it works for you? Being angry? No, right? So it's better to be in a very neutral, calm mode. Find somewhere to settle down and then confront him. And I think men mostly, they are not very good in telling about how they feel. And sometimes I just felt so frustrated, and sometimes I just think, oh, I cannot force him, because I think most men have this problem. Have this macho mindset that if I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make myself vulnerable. So most of them, they will not tell you how they feel. But I think it is very good that if you can, I'm still working on it. I'm not saying that I can or I'm good at it, but I'll try to tell him, how I feel, and also encourage him to say, how do you feel about this? And he's like, no, no, I don't want to talk about it. Then let him be. Maybe, you tell him how you feel, because I think it is really important. And we women, we have to have certain standard. We cannot just take any kind of shit, right? And we have to be able to like voice out our, our thoughts and share them with your partner, and hopefully he can feel your pain and maybe do some adjustment. And I think that is something that, in fact, I'm still working on it, and I don't think that I am really good now, because I just felt like we have to like take a step back. Sometimes it's not a matter of who is right, who is wrong, right? So having your own space is really, really important. I think who is right, who is wrong, no. And be able to communicate, that is the most difficult part, I find. Sometimes I feel like, I am missing, I am losing a lot of ideas. Need to go and find ideas how to work things around. I'm not saying this being an expert. I'm not an expert in relationship. I'm thriving myself still, but I'm just sharing with you why I felt like being alone is a very good thing. And every couple should do that, not just us women. The men should also do that also, so that they could find peace within themselves. And with this peace on both sides, then you both can be in a more calm, what do you call that, mode, to maybe discuss about that, which is in lack in most relationship. They find, in fact, most divorce is, being suggested by women, and men, they just, okay, whatever, so I think when you are alone, you have more time to take care of yourself. I noticed that when we came back to Sweden, and I have, my goal is to get myself healthy, because during this trip in Da Nang, due to those intensive walking, I felt like, I start to see, the defect of my body. And that is why, I'm so scared. I don't want to be in the time where, I can't do all those things that I enjoy anymore. So that's why my lifestyle in this trip has changed me, and I have adapt a new way of living, that I felt like, I need time out. I need time to be alone. How much time do we need to be alone? So for me, I think, if possible, have some time, like, hello, metro lady. Hey, like, tell your partner, say, hey, I need time to be, alone, like 3 hours on my own. I need to read something. I need to learn something on the internet, or, some things that you felt like you need to do for your own. It can be, spoiling yourself in the room, giving yourself the spa treatment, or whatever things that makes you feel good. So for us, this is our situation when we are together in the morning. I usually like to spend 1 hour on myself. I go to the kitchen, I get my morning drink, the golden drink, the one with the lemon, the turmeric and the pepper. After that drink, I will start to work out. I don't want anyone to disturb me. I told him, you cannot come into the room. This is my time. So I will spend 1 hour doing whatever things I need. It can be just, cleaning. I don't meditate anymore. I do Pilates. So I'll make sure that, I'm ready. And then we will spend maybe 15-20 minutes sitting on the kitchen, and we will just have like conversation like, what are you going to do today, and what am I going to do, and I'm going to tell him what I plan to do. Will this be recorded? Yes, it is. But I don't think so. The chat will be recorded after this live streaming. It will be all gone. So so you cannot put any link, or you cannot put any kind of connection here, all right? If you know what I mean. If you've been in live streaming, you should know, right? YouTube don't allow that, unfortunately. So I think we have a little chat, and then we will tell each other, okay, what we want to do today. And then if we are going to town, we go to do things together. That is, in a relationship, I think it is also important that you can do things together. So, and then I will sound me up. I plan to go on this bicycle trip. Are you interested? If you're interested, let's get going after breakfast. And then usually, LG, he's a very kind, understanding. Usually he will tell me, or he will compromise me and say, okay, let's go. And it's also good for him, also exercises on his hip, because when you're cycling, you are actually exercising your hip. So I thought also it is good for him, because he needs to train. He's like 70 and I'm like 59. So cycling has become our things to do together. And also another things we like to do is that we go shopping to in town, and then maybe sometimes we need help in the house around. So I will like try to ask him to help me. For cooking wise, it doesn't work on him, because I'm saying he's suck in cooking, and I think I rather cook the food, because I prefer the kind of taste that I make for myself. And of course, he can't cook, and he's quite accepting. So it doesn't matter what I cook. Everything I cook, he thinks is nice. But sometimes he also say that, this is too strong. This is not for me. But sometimes you have to accept it, right? So these are things that you can, discuss, because I find that a relationship is like a business. You have to negotiate, you have to have a plan. And I think it is very important that your partner has his own plan also. Not like, I think a lot of men will ask them, what are you doing? Like from the beginning, I felt like every time when I ask him, what do you want to do, then he will say, I'll do whatever you are doing. So no, 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 that is not good. Encourage him to have like his own hobby, his own plan. What do you want to do, right? Just go ahead and do. Don't care about me. I have my own stuff to get busy on. So we have that understanding, and we are fine with that kind of plan. So sometimes, we at our own place, because our own place in the main house is actually quite big. I have 2 room by myself, and he has the living room, and he has the outside in the garage by himself sometimes. So we are not on our face. So that is really, really good, because when we have that space, we I felt like I'm able to like breathe in. Like, you know, that space is kind of important. And if you are staying in an apartment and you don't have that kind of space, I think you have to create opportunity where you could get out of the house and do something. Go for a walk. Or maybe, you don't have to go together. Maybe you need to go alone for a walk. Or if you are living in a big city, go to a park, somewhere that is natural, or in a river bank. Go for a long walk, and I can guarantee you, every time when you do that, you will come back, you will feel refreshed. You will find that this is a good way to like give each other space, because we Chinese, we always think that oh, couple, they're not together. Oh, maybe something is wrong with them. But that is wrong, because that is how they keep the relationship strong, because you understand each other, you respect each other's space, and you give each other the room to do whatever things that drive you, that makes you want to wake up every day. So I think it is really, really good, because when you are alone, you have the time to take care of your own mental health. You maybe you have learned something during this time when you're alone. It could be on the internet, could be reading a book, it could be something that makes you think. And 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 if it's possible, the alone time stretch longer and longer. It's even better. It's not that I don't like being with him, it's just like I just felt like being alone give me so much power to be in control. Like today, he's out in his son, his granddaughter's football. I'm not a football person, I'm not a sport person. So I say, oh, good, good, go. Then I have free time. Then I can go live on with you guys, and then I could, do more longer exercise. And then when he's not around, I tend to be more relaxed. Then I could like eat my breakfast in a calm, my tempo. I don't like to rush things. So I just eat whatever things that I like to eat, and just, starts the day slowly, and just enjoying every moment, every second of it. Um, so when he comes back, pew, he's like all over the place, like he's like my follower, he follow me everywhere. But now that we are in this summer house, there are a lot of things to do around the house. So I'm so glad that he has stuff to do. He don't have to like being around with me. And I'm so glad that I have that other house, that I could spend my time. I go there to edit my video. Sometimes when we are here, our TV is just here, so it's not very big, and the room is not very big either. It's just like that. See, Siri is sitting there. So it's very small, and our kitchen is also very small. So it's really good if I could, have another place that I could do some editing. And today I'm planning to go on a cycling on myself, because cycling, recently I've taken up this hobby. um I discovered so many benefits of cycling with the e-bike. I'm not the type of hardcore person who like to cycle up slope. I find that e-bike is really, really fun, and I think everyone should get one e-bike, because since I got this e-bike last year, and the season was really short last year because we were away. And when we were in Vietnam, I keep telling LG, I said, when we come back, I'm going to make sure that I cycle every day. Even if the weather is shitty, I'll still make a point to cycle. And I noticed that when I cycle, I like cycling alone. And because when I cycle alone, I can go to the forest and peep at all the situation in the forest. Sometimes I just, cycle a little longer way so that I could reach the forest area and look if there's any kind of like plants or medicine plants that are coming. Right now, we unfortunately haven't got the real season started up yet. So unfortunately, it was not so much to see. But I think I will try my best to do some video recording when I'm alone. Ever since I take up cycling, I cycle like 30 kilometers, sometimes, most of the time, a day. And I try to do like 3 times at least a week. I find that I'm more familiar with the road because I noticed the neighborhood, it's not very big, but there are a lot of streets I haven't, tried cycling. I find that I'm more active, I'm more happy because I'm like exploring and I see, wow, sometimes you may be cycling at the same place, but sometimes, different, especially springtime in Sweden is like very fast. Sometimes it can get, very warm and then all the flowers are blooming. Just like the other day when we passed by, when we pass by these few houses which I really like, and I see, oh, today they put up the table, oh, today they put up the swing, so I think that is some kind of progress and also makes me give me the time to think about life, uh, what what I want to do with my life, and also how to be more calm and more at peace with myself, and how to think of a best situation for myself. So definitely, all right, if you can get an e-bike, because bicycle is really tough for me. But if you are young and strong, go for a normal bike because that is good training. But because I have this knee problem, I can't really cycle 30 kilometers with just a normal bike. I can only maybe make it up with 5 kilometers. But with the e-bike, I could even cycle further. And when you cycle further, you are actually having this adventure, I find, that you are able to explore and, be more active because, you don't need to like work very hard when you go up on the upslope. So you just need to gas and then go all the way up, and it is really, really fun. I find that I this is something that is missing in my life. When we were kids, my mom don't have money to buy bicycle. So I remember when I was small, my cousin has a bike, but it's an adult bike, and I was like very short. I I try my best. So you know what I did? I climb up on the chair and then I go up on the bike. And nobody taught me how to ride a bike. And I was alone. And I find that when I'm alone, I'm more in control. I don't need anyone to help me. Maybe because I'm very independent since young already. So nobody even teach me how to ride a bike. Can you imagine that? And I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I only know that, okay, when you go up on the chair, all you need to do is just continue to step onto that. And then you will eventually get on to the mode and, being able to cycle. Of course, I fell. Every time when I fell, I learned something. So I think it took me like just 2 hours, after a lot of falling. And it took me just that amount of time to master it. So I couldn't even sit on top of this adult bike. So I was actually standing and riding the bike, like if you can imagine, like a small kid, you cannot even reach the bottom of your feet landing on the ground, and you're just trying to struggle, trying to keep yourself balanced. And it is really, really good because when you cycle, you are actually training your muscle on part, like especially on the leg and on the core, the stomach, to balance out, and it really help also with the arm because you're putting a lot of tension, right, when you control the bike. So yeah, you should do that. If you haven't got a bike, e-bike, I'm going to include the link on my affiliated link in this video so you can go and check it out. I like this bike because it is very small. It is foldable. I think I did 2 video on that, on 2 separate video. So you can fold it and then you can bring it, because I think it is also good that Once I get tired of, cycling the same area, I can always take the bike, go to another city or another town and just cycle, find new road, because then you learn new places and new adventure. I think that is so fun. And I just hope that if you are cycling, if you know what I mean, let me know in your comment, all right? And share with us, why you love cycling too. So give yourself space and your partner's space, and do things alone, because it is much, much more fun. I hope if people like this kind of content, I can produce more tips like what we do every day, to keep our relationship alive. Um, I will give you some ideas, like, beside just in the morning time, in the evening, what we can do together also. I think it is very important to like respect each other's interests and encourage each other, and also try to be more open. You know, I used to be very judgmental on my partner, but now I learned the technique of silence. Sometimes I just felt like, what's the point of telling him, maybe I'm not so good in putting my words in a proper manner that he could feel not intimidated. Sometimes I find it myself, I could get a bit aggressive with the way I speak. So I need to be better on that, and I think we have to learn this skill, and hopefully you guys can find these tips helpful, or at least can relate to my situation with yours. All right, I think I am about to go, and I'll see you guys. I will be doing more video about how it is like to find peace in within, and also I will try to go to the forest and do more findings, hunting, you call that. And I'll see you in my next. All right, take care, have a great Sunday, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.